Get your asses back here, you cowards. Yes, you. What other little bitches do you think I'm talking to? Yeah, you heard me. Now fight me properly before everyone sees how shit you are at your jobs. Gotta love how defensive you all are when you've got nothing to be proud of. Just sitting on your asses all day, crying about your minimum wage jobs, and wondering where in life you went wrong when it should have been obvious from the beginning. Should I put all those college funds from mommy and daddy to something more useful? Maybe something like self-defense lessons. Or did they put you through those for a few weeks before you got bored and dropped them? Huh, you wanna prove me wrong? Go for it. Ha! Too slow! Come on, I thought you were supposed to be proving me wrong. Or are you really going to show the world just how much of a disappointment you are? Honestly, I'd be embarrassed if I were you. Aw, I want to hide your faces from the cameras now so people can't see how scared you are. Are you serious? Are you actually running away again? Not this time. You aren't going anywhere without my permission. How does it feel to look like a complete joke on live television? All yours, Chroma.
Well, there's a pretty face I've been looking forward to seeing again. Hope I didn't keep you waiting for long. Had a very productive day at work. Oh, you actually got to see that? Did you have an equal amount of second-hand embarrassment as I did from watching those idiots making complete fools of themselves? They'll be perfectly fine after a few weeks in rehab. Honestly, I'm surprised they can even afford all of those procedures. Wages like those won't get you like half-decent health insurance. And there's no way they're getting proper benefits from part-time work. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if one of the restaurants they work for is a front for a drug trafficking scheme. Would make for a juicy scandal, don't you think? In reality, they probably just get charity funds from manipulating fans or something boring like that. Wish it was something scandalous though, so we could pull the rug out from under their feet and watch the media burn them alive while their fans try desperately to make excuses for them. Maybe one day. Hopefully they didn't blow your ears out with their screaming when they got checked into the hospital early. I can imagine all those noise complaints they're getting right now. Oh, really? You didn't take today and tomorrow off in preparation for our date, did you? Huh. You know what? That makes sense. I do think there were a few times where I wouldn't see nurses on the same day every week. Probably to make up for all call-ins, right? Not sure how well I'd handle a rotating schedule like that. Sounds like it would make things difficult. Having a set schedule makes it easier to plan things out. Can't imagine finally getting a day off and receiving a call to come fill in for someone. You deserve a nice break after all you have to do. I hope your patients appreciate what you do for them. Not all nurses are that devoted. I would know. And I can tell you right now that I'd prefer you over any of the other ones I met. You know, I've got some injuries from earlier. Maybe I could get a free consultation? You wouldn't leave a patient just like that, would you? I'm in dire need of your services. And here I was going to offer you extra dates free of charge, but I guess I had to withhold that offer until I'm compensated properly. Oh, I'm 100% serious about that offer. I can easily make it happen. Problem is getting those days off for you, and you won't even take up my offer on that. You must have been lucky getting those consistent weekends off for our dates. Kinda shocked you were able to schedule that far in advance, considering it can take a while to get a reservation for this place. Oh, look who's got some connections of their own. Color me surprised. So, who do you work your charm on? Huh? Yeah, I know about your survey preferences. I'm the spitting image of them, aren't I? What? Are you gonna tell me that you've had a lineup of villain types that you spent the last couple of days rejecting up until now? Look, I know being part of someone's villain origin story sounds cool on paper, but are you that desperate to be the catalyst for some basement dweller's hatred toward humanity all because they had one bad dating experience? Because seriously, those guys are like a bottom tier dime a dozen types. You do not want to be associated with that level of basic. Good. You're lucky they like to do most of their damage in the comfort of their own homes. So then, who were my unfortunate predecessors? Huh? Oh, you actually saw them on the news with me. The one working with. Wait, you mean Karoma? You went on a date with my boss? I'm sorry, but I need a second to actually process that. I, I, okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you went on some dates with my boss like we're doing right now, right? Here at this restaurant? And when was this? 3 weeks before our. Oh. So if you don't mind me asking, what happened during those dates? You didn't discuss anything weird, did you? Just normal then. Like going over your likes and dislikes and stuff. What happened after? Oh, sorry you got rejected like that. I mean, we wouldn't be here if you hadn't, but, you know. So, this is going to sound weird, and don't take this personally, but I think my boss never intended on having a proper relationship with you. It's a long story, but a couple of months ago, my boss decided that the higher ups in the office needed some continuing education credits, and being the ever unpredictable person Chroma is, chose to send us here for educational experience. Honestly, I thought it was a joke until we were given copies of those contracts I showed you last time. And judging by what you've told me, Chroma was doing trial runs before our scheduled time came in. In other words, you got scouted and we were set up by my boss. With all the strings that are being pulled from behind the scenes here, you'd think my boss would want to invest in a matchmaking business. But no, always had to do things the hard way. I don't know why my boss bothers with this stuff. Are you calling us hopeless without your help or something? I mean, you're not completely wrong, but still. You'd think business would be priority in, a business. Yeah, we probably need breaks too. Just like you. Life ends up revolving around work to the point where you're lacking a social life. Free time tends to involve being at home alone with your hobbies. Sounds like we're in the same boat then. Maybe that's why my boss brought us together. To break us out of the habit of doing things alone. Or maybe we're just really compatible. My boss saw that we had a lot of shared interests or something. But I guess that's up for us to find out, huh? So, Halveston, let's see. I'm a pretty avid gamer. I play a lot of card games, and I'm also big on the documentary type shows. Oh, really? What type of stuff do you normally play? Yeah, I can definitely see that. Sounds like a nice distraction from work. Personally, I'm a big on survival horror games. No, no, not that cheap jump scare garbage that anyone can easily make in an hour. I mean the proper stuff where you have to hide and use your surroundings to your advantage. You get a rush from being chased down by things you can't defend yourself from. Much more than I can say about coffee or dealing with idiots. No, the shooter types make it really boring. You lose a lot of the fear factor by just gunning everything down. Plus, when you actually know how to use a gun, you start realizing how some game devs don't exactly know how they work. I'd give you some recommendations if you're not too scared to try them. Absolutely not. Those jump scare type games are awful entry points. They'll probably ruin your entire perception of horror altogether. They're an actual disgrace to the genre. Yes, I am very serious. You don't mess with my favorite genre like that. It's already niche enough to begin with. I don't need junk replacing the good games because of some influencer made it popular to like it after they decided to record themselves screaming over someone's first year animation project, suddenly popping up on screen with some stock screeching sound blaring in the background. Yes, I will write this down on a napkin if I have to. I've got a long list of games to look into that are miles better. You think it's funny trying to get under my skin like that, huh? Especially when I can turn the tables on you and find the shoddiest trash your favorite genre has to offer? Tell you what, how about you recommend some games for me to play, and I'll recommend ones for you to play. That way we can both avoid an aneurysm. Good. Shouldn't take long to write down my list. There you go. Thank you very much for yours. I'll look it over when I get home. Yeah, I did mention card games too. More like traditional type games with your basic deck of playing cards. Yeah, nothing too complicated like those fantasy based ones. More like poker style games. I've gotten really good over the years for playing against everyone in the office. I have quite a reputation of destroying everyone any time I join a game. They actually banned me from poker nights because I always end up with a majority of the winnings. I'm good at just about all of them, but I absolutely kill at speed. If you play against me, you will lose, guaranteed. You do not want to challenge me to speed. Oh, you definitely won't be saying that when real money's on the line. Or do you have some kind of death wish? Or maybe you just like the idea of being completely dominated by someone like me. No, I will not take that back. Want to prove me wrong then? We can make a wager. If you win, I'll concede and take back what I said. And you can decide whatever else you want. Say it, and it's yours. But if I win, well, there's a lot of things I could ask from you. You would be wise to back down now. There's no going back if you agree. No, you don't get a detailed contract for this one. The potential outcomes will be vague until the very end. This is my game, so we play by my rules. I don't have to be fair. So it's up to you whether you're willing to take your chances or not. So, what will it be? Good choice. You're off the hook then. For now. Yes, for now. Alright, what else? Oh yeah, the documentaries. I kind of already told you about that the last time. I watch a lot of those medical mystery shows with all the rare diseases and whatnot. Yeah, that one. I've been watching a lot of the reruns recently since they just announced another season. The next episode is coming out in a few weeks. I'm really looking forward to that. Have you ever seen any of those rare diseases they've shown there? I know I asked before, but you don't have to get specific or anything. So you don't violate patient confidentiality. Oh, really? I think they talked about that one in one of the earlier episodes. They mentioned it was only recently discovered. But it's strange because there was another disease they talked about that had the opposite problem, and they still had the same symptoms. How does that work? That's so weird. Doesn't that make it difficult to figure out anything if a lot of things just have the same symptoms? Yeah, and then they have completely different treatments for everything. Why is it that one of them had surgery while the other didn't and just used medicine to treat it? If they had to use that medicine for the rest of their life, but the person who had surgery didn't, Why didn't they just do the same for the other person and make their life easier? See, this is why I don't work in the medical field. I don't envy the overcomplicated nature of diagnosing and treating people. Business is its own kind of complicated, but I guess there's some similarity in problem solving, in that the same problem might not always have the same solution. Still, problems can be easily solved here, provided we offer a nice incentive to potential business partners or clients. You can't really reason with a disease. I still find it really interesting to watch. There's something fascinating about seeing all the steps they take to find out the cause of the problem. And it's great to know that recognition is given to something so rare, especially when it deals with health. Of course, I'm concerned about what happens to those people. What if I end up developing some rare disease in the future and no one knows what's wrong? I need to be prepared so I don't go through the same thing. The longer I'm sick, the longer I'm away from work. That's the less time those idiots get to spend in the hospital, you know? Hey, we might have different priorities and reasons for why we like things, but we do have at least some similar interests. Maybe my boss really was onto something. Well, I'm glad things turned out the way they did. I really enjoyed talking to you, you know? Just sucks that it had to be at the expense of those dates with my boss. Sorry if that was your first experience here. Don't think anyone wants to hear that after getting along well with someone. Oh, really? Did you go on other days here before then? Wait, with who? As in, the Lightwings member? Maybe someone in upper management has a cruel sense of humor and decided to put one of those idiots in the villain type category. Or maybe I am right and they really are a bunch of good for nothings. So, how did that go? I imagine not so well considering you were on a date with me. Oh my god. Oh, that is rich. Now that would make for some really good blackmail material. Wow, that's embarrassing. Hey, you didn't agree to the contract before. Should have said something beforehand. And besides, it said not to use blackmail against each other. Nothing in there stating we can't use the information we learn here against others. In all seriousness, yes, the offer is still on the table. But this is just too good to ignore. I'd hate to pass up on an opportunity like this one. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't use your real name, especially on live television. I meant what I said about not getting civilians involved. So you would remain anonymous regardless. Well, it's up to you. Take your time to think about it. And if you decide between now and next week that you'd like to sign in, you can contact me at this number. My office hours are from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays. Business inquiries and contract signing only. My boss will get mad if I use it for anything else. You know, maybe I can convince my boss that letting you call my work phone for other purposes is all part of continuing education. Yeah, no need to get you in trouble at work too. I understand the rules are strict since you're responsible for taking care of patients. We can save the personal talk for here. Yes, there's a lot I'd still like to talk about when we get together for our next date. I'm glad to hear that. It's good to know you're enjoying yourself as well. Time to count down the hours until the next one then. Just one more week to go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.